I want to make 100,000 a month. I want to retire my family. I want to provide for my family. I want to be rich. All of us have that dream, but that journey to that dream, you have no idea what that journey you're going to have to go through.
Even though it was really hard though. I mean, we had legitimate reasons to quit.
No, this is our dream. This is what we got to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of More Than a Sale, where it's not just about the successes, it's about the hardships, the struggles, the pain, the sorrows to get to where you are. And today we have
Rav and Kiran.
Rav and Kiran.
Rav and Kiran.
9-figure earning power couple built a huge successful business, creating a digital franchise with 100,000 followers on Instagram on a mission to help 1 million plus people obtain better health with the Feel Great system.
I want you guys to meet Rav and Kiran. Welcome to More Than a Sale.
What's going on, man? Thank you for having us. I think if we had the plan B, we would have gone back. The boat was burned. It was, we build the boat or we die on the island. So it's like, we got to figure this out. People are too scared to burn the boats. That's why you got these young kids today. They're living with their parents and they're comfortable. Like, I don't have desire. People don't burn the boats. Once you burn the boat, look, you will surprise yourself what you're capable of. And we'd burn the boat. I didn't know we'd have to fall into a depression. We'd almost have to break up. We'd have to lose everything. The answer is always within, bro. I think that's why we're creating so many millionaires today.
Rav, Kiran, it's a pleasure to have you on More Than a Sale. How are you guys?
Good, man. Ron, thank you.
This is a love story for the books. I mean, you guys have done an incredible job. We're going to get right into that for the podcast, of course. Unicity is what you guys are, but this isn't just about the business aspect of things. I think it's a story that is been told, but not on a very large scale, and not many people know about this story of yours. So first off, you guys are what, high school sweethearts? Yeah. From what I understand. Rav was telling me a little bit earlier, we were chit-chatting. Rav, why don't you tell us, how'd you guys meet?
How do we meet? All right, we're saying it live. This is the first time ever doing a podcast, so this is first time publicly shared. But, you know, in grade 10, there was this business competition in high school called DECA. Remember?
Yeah, I remember DECA,
and one of my buddies told me, yo, man, there's good girls that go to fine girls that go to DECA. I'm like, all right, let's go. I want to see what kind of girls we can find. And it was my school and her school went to a regional, and she ends up winning the competition. And I just see her walk on stage, and I'm like, who is that girl? Yeah. And I just heard the name. They said Kiran. So the whole time I'm kind of eyeing her down. She's not really making eye contact with me. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I messaged some guys from her school. I'm like, hey, who's this Kiran chick? None of them would really give me any traction on it. So I just kind of let it be. A year later, France versus Italy. Remember when Zidane headbutted the dude?
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
July 9th, 2006. We're sitting on MSN Messenger. A buddy adds a girl into the chat. You know, remember like add someone in, introduce me someone? He adds her in and we're just chatting at the time. And I'm looking at the display phone. Like, this girl looks familiar. We just chatted, but it's that instant connection. We talked what, like 6-7 hours that day.
Yeah, we talked a long time.
And we connected, and man, we found out I found out through conversation it was the same girl from DECA, and I'd just gotten out of a different, like, you know, high school relationship, not serious relationship. So I was looking. She had just gotten out of some high school relationship, nothing serious.
Wasn't looking,
but I played some game, and 2 weeks later we started dating, man.
That's incredible. And how long have you guys been married so far?
2017, we've been married.
7 years this year.
Yeah.
7 years this year. Incredible.
So together 18 years? 18 years? Yeah.
17 years, I think.
What's 2006 to 2014? I don't know.
We don't count the years anymore. It's just
you just make the years count. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And then you guys also work together as well, and you've built a very successful business doing so, which we're gonna jump into. But I really want to tie up the correlation between how you guys both do it and you know, the story and the journey, because there's been a lot of ups and downs from what I understand, and it was not always a perfect story. You know, now we see the end result and we said, holy crap, wow. This is incredible. And everyone's saluting you, shaking hands, saying you guys are the individuals, you guys are the couple. But it wasn't always like that.
No. For years, man. For years. We were the laughing stock. We were the nobodies. People said these two are crazy. They're doing their own thing. But I think, bro, the key is you got to have a partner that's willing to run with you. I say this all the time. I'm not into getting a trophy wife. I want to get trophies with my wife. That's the key. You want the partner that's willing to run with you, because look, it requires sacrifices. Right? Tons. Nobody sees the sacrifices. Nobody sees the sleepless nights. Nobody sees the struggle. I mean, there were so many times. I mean, Kiran is beautiful. She didn't have to put up with any of this stuff. She could easily have, you know, found anybody. But she's ate the crust. We call it eat the crust. You got to eat the crust first, because you got to make the sacrifices. And very few people are willing to do that. And we were both willing to do that for each other. And I think that's the key. You know, a lot of times you have individuals, they get into either real estate, they start a business, and the spouse is putting them down. If one of us were putting each other down, this wouldn't have lasted. We both had the vision from day one. And the vision was we want to be rich. We want to be successful. We want to do something big. We never want to worry about money. And originally we thought that path would be medicine. We realized very soon that isn't medicine. And that's the thing. We were both willing to leave that path of medicine. If she was going to go med school and I went my way with Unicity, I don't think it would have lasted, man. We both made the sacrifice together. And since day one, we've been like this. In university, we went to Western together. It was me and her were always together.
For our audience watching and for our listeners, tell me about the story. And when you told me about your story, from you drove an Uber to all the odd jobs that you've done, to everyone thinking, you're, if I may say so, and you said it yourself in your own words, a loser in a lot of, and then from there on out to what you've built and you've accomplished. Let's start from the ground up. Tell me what it was like building on what you've accomplished so far.
You want to start?
I mean, the reality was, in our type of business, you need to have someone to follow. And we didn't really have anyone to learn from. So we really were like in the trenches trying to figure it out. The person that introduced us to the business, they like left within a couple months.
Insane.
So,
bro, huge mistake. Yeah. The guy would be making $500,000 a month today. Left. Second month in the business.
Yeah. I mean, we did learn a few things from him, but he left so quickly. We were just, left kind of to our own devices trying to figure this out. And we had both didn't have any business experience. We're students, we're academics, like we don't really know anything, the first thing about running a business or starting a business.
Yeah.
So, and then, we had to figure it out.
Who brought the opportunity? Did Rav bring the opportunity first, or how did you both hear about it at the same time?
No, so he actually heard about it first. I was more skeptical. I was like, hey, no, we got to focus and get into med school. You know?
So did you think he was crazy? You're like, what are you doing, Rav?
No, because actually, we both used to do stuff together, right? And we were always looking for opportunities to make money because we just I didn't have it growing up, and neither did he. He was raised by a single mom. I was kind of on my own from the beginning. My parents helped me a lot, but I was still very much independent. I had to carry myself through anything. So we're always looking for ways to make money. And even during university, we would sell bags, scarves, headphones, whatever we could.
Fake Chanel bags,
yeah,
from China, Burberry scarves,
whatever we could, right? Just to make some money, right? Some extra cash, right? And yeah, so we always had that hustle mentality and mindset.
Yeah.
And when he first brought the opportunity, I was like, oh, I don't know, I'm not really sure, but I was open, right, to doing something because we knew we needed to figure out something to pay for med school.
And so my thing was, I was looking for opportunity, bro. So January 2013, I'm supposed to start med school. I'm not looking forward to this because one, I'm supposed to leave my mom, I'm supposed to leave my sister. I'm going to leave Kiran, go to UK. I'm supposed to go to RBC to get a student line of credit. My mom's putting line of credit on the house. And my mom, after my mom's separation, divorce, we're not doing well anymore. Every year we're going lower, 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 lower in the socioeconomic chain, right? It's not you're there. I'm stressing out man, is this really worth it? I shadowed my uncle who's a cardiologist in Seattle. I spent a week with him and I'm like, this is not what I want to do. And he took me out for dinner. He said, Rav, don't go to medicine. If I was to do life again, I would not go to medicine. I'm burnt out. I'm exhausted. This guy's a cardiologist. And my dad would always highly talk about him because they were really, really good friends from elementary school in India. But when he said that to me, it just validated it. So I was looking for a business and he said, Rav, I make $500,000 a year, but I'm exhausted, but I have buddies that make $500,000 a month. I remember that, bro. I remember, one of those things you hear and you're just wait, people make $500,000 a month?
Yeah.
That's because you're thinking $500,000 a year is a lot. $500,000 a month. He's like, yeah, I think get into some kind of business, maybe investment banking, something. He's an academic, so he's telling me go back to school. But I'm now looking for businesses, look at different opportunities. And I'd always go to her with it. And it's not like she'd shut it down, but she was always a little weary. Look, we can't get distracted from med school. That's her focus. When Unicity came about, it was from another doctor I was working for. And this guy is a chiropractor, but he's already well-to-do. Lives in a nice house in Oakville, always does charities in India, has 30-plus clinics. And I always used to ask him, man, I want to get into business. Tell me what to do. He knew I was hungry. He knew I was entrepreneurial. So he one day calls me, he said, listen, I found this product. It was made by Rexall Drug Company. Rexall, we all know the name Rexall.
Yeah.
It helps with blood sugar, cholesterol. That caught my attention because everyone in my family has it. And he's like, listen, I think you could do really well with this. I'm calling this guy that my cousin met at Tandoori Flame. You know that buffet?
Yeah.
He heard him talk about it, Tandoori Flame. My cousin told me about it. I'm going to get that guy come to the clinic. Just meet up with him. So I come meet this. So anyways, Karen used to work at the clinic with me. She had a biomed degree, bro. And what she's getting after a biomed degree is a freaking reception job.
It was like a big slap in the face, but it is.
That's the school system for you. I mean, I'm not trying down school, but that's a school system for you, bro. You have all these kids that are pulling up OSAP. Well, your OSAP, what was this? $45,000, $50,000 OSAP loan. Went to school, got a biomed degree, was working in a master's program to end up as a reception job at a health clinic. Pathetic. But anyway, so long story short, this guy comes, sees him and calls him to a clinic. I'm running the clinic at the time. I'm a manager, Young and Eglinton. Ironically, the Heart and Stroke building.
Wow.
The 14th floor. So we're working there, and this guy comes, and he's like this, big, stocky white guy, comes, loud voice, like typical, stereotypical car salesman type of dude.
Got it.
Okay? But when he came in, and I remember he brought in all these people's blood work, and he brings his blood work. He says, listen, I found this product. I was in Alberta. Somebody approached me with this product. It helps with blood sugar, cholesterol, and it's done this for me. And we started helping people. I brought it to Toronto. So that was actually a truth. A lot of people say Rav and Kiran brought this product to North America. No, there was this guy brought it to Toronto from Alberta. And it was here. It's just he brought it, awareness of it. He shows his blood work. It catches my attention because my grandmother has diabetes. My grandfather has diabetes. My other grandmother has diabetes. My other grandfather has diabetes. My dad has diabetes. Everyone in my family except my dad has diabetes. And as a kid growing up, I was told you're going to have diabetes because everyone in your family has diabetes. So that was already my attention. Anyways, he breaks down this product, explains it. I remember I asked him, I'm like, wait, is this MLM? You know, people say that. He's like, of course it is. How else are you going to sell this product? I'm like, oh, okay, I guess, whatever. It was just so confident about it. And I said that objection, how most people say it, but they don't even understand what the hell it is. Is this MLM? What the heck is MLM? Nobody even understands. We just say it because people criticize what they don't understand.
Yeah.
Right? They criticize what they don't understand. So anyways, his confidence, I just went with his confidence. Like, okay, yeah, I guess. So anyways, he got my attention about the product. But bro, this is where, sometimes maybe in entrepreneurs, salespeople, they do a presentation, they do a showing, and the client doesn't get back to them and they don't follow up. Bro, I'm supposed to be going to med school in 4 months. I have all this stuff in my mind that I was actually interested in the product. And I told this guy, yeah, listen, give me a week, I'll get back to you. And I was interested and I forgot about it. I honestly forgot about it. And he calls back a week later. She picks up the phone. He's like, Rav, look at the information. He said, give me a week. And she's telling me, I'm like, yo, man, I don't want to talk to that guy. I'm too busy. Bro, I almost blew this off. And he's like, no, I'm coming. When can they meet him? Remember? He was like,
he was really...
What did he say to you on the phone?
I don't really remember the exact words. I just remember he was really persistent. He was like, oh, if Rav hasn't looked at it, that's okay. I'm gonna come. I'm coming. He said, I'm coming. And I'm like, I don't.
Garen comes back to me. She's like, this guy wants to come to the clinic.
I can't stop him from coming.
Yeah. So Garen's like, when are you available? I'm like, yo, whatever. Just tell him come 2 o'clock. So anyways, he comes back. This is the importance of follow-up, bro. I was interested. Had he not followed up, we'd not be sitting here right now.
Wow.
I would be in some hospital working, burnt out like my uncle. And so anyways, he follows up, he comes back. I'm like, listen, man, I'm interested in the product. I'm just going to be real. Like, you have your typical objections. How much time is it going to take? Is this product actually legitimate? Explain the story to me a little bit more. I want to understand. And then I just told him straight up because he didn't look like he made, 6 figures. He made 6 figures the first year. I'm like, hey, man, I don't think you made 300,000 last year. And he's like, let me show you. And he shows me the deposits. And bro, I'm 23 years old and I'm seeing 40,000, 50,000. And I'm like, you're doing this with this product? He's like, yeah. He's like, why don't you come to a meeting tonight? We're doing it at the Days Inn, some Days Inn on 404 and DVP.
Yeah.
And now I'm interested. And he leaves. I'm like, Karen, remember?
Yep.
I'm like, Karen, this guy's actually making serious money with this.
I'm like, don't sign up for anything.
Yeah. She's like, don't sign up for anything. It sounds like a pyramid scheme. That's what she said.
Yeah.
She's like, it sounds like a pyramid scheme. Don't sign up for anything. I'm like, no, Karen, I honestly think I found something.
Yeah.
I went that night, bro, to the meeting. I remember I went to a meeting. I still remember. I was wearing black dress shirt, gray dress pants after coming back from clinic with these Steve Madden shoes that were hideous. I still remember these shoes. And I'm in the meeting, and I'm in the back, right? They're like, hey, come sit in the front. I'm like, I'm not sitting in the front. I want to be in the back, arms crossed, watching. And I'm watching this, and they explain the opportunity about the company, how it used to be Rexall, all that. Yeah, I already understood that. The product, I got that. Then when they had the testimonials come up, and I started hearing story after story after story of people getting off insulin, people getting off medications, people saying I was on blood pressure pills, I'm no longer on it. And then a couple business testimonials of people saying, hey, I made 6,000 last month, 12,000 last month. Bro, I'm 23 years old. And I still remember that day like it was yesterday. It was literally like your whole world just shifted. And all in my mind, all I'm saying is, if these people can do it, I'm going to kill this. These people are doing this, I'm going to freaking kill this. And I called her right away. I'm like,
so
and I'm like,
excited.
Karen, we're doing this.
I was like, wait, let me see this first.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, next week they're having another meeting. Come to the meeting. So then she comes to the meeting next week, and she's like, no, it's actually legit. I'm like, Karen, let's do it. And we were trying to play it safe. You know, you don't want to give up what you've spent 4 or 5 years applying to, getting into. Look, we'll just do it for a few months to pay for med school, but let's see what we can do. So anyways, we set up our business, we set up the franchise.
Like we're going to do it on the side and then still continue with our plan and then let this go up and then this will just be like a side income or a side hustle. Exactly like that.
Correct. Because you don't know what, bro, I have a full first year scholarship, full acceptance. Like I'm going to med school. She's still applying. Like that's what our plan was for 5 years.
Yeah.
Made it so much time, energy, money into that.
This is all you know, right?
Exactly.
Medicine.
Yeah.
And this is my mom's dream. This is her dream. My Mossy, which is my mom's sister, my mom are fired up about, he's going to med school.
So then you set it up and then continue from there.
I set it up and we were so broke. I didn't have money to set it up. I borrowed money from the doctor who told me about it.
And how much was this amount? Do you remember?
$2,000 set up.
2,000, but you didn't have $2,000.
I didn't have 2,000, bro. I didn't have a credit card to put 2,000 on. My limit was like $600.
Wow.
And my debit card was pretty much clean because everything's going towards house and all that
So
stuff.
you're dollar to dollar.
Bro, not even dollar, man. Like worse than that. So I talked to his doctor and I said, listen, man, I'm going to do this. I really want to blow it up. If you want, you can sign up. I'll sign up under you, whatever. But can you spot me the $2,000 and I'll pay you back? Because you get $2,000 a product for the $2,000. So I'm like, just spot me the $2,000 and I'll pay you back in 30 days. Bro, in 2 days I was gone. And one of the first guys I actually called was Bick. I met him that year. He's like the young guy our age, killing it. He's making, $500,000, close to $1 million a year. Drives an E-Class, 22 years old, killing it in real estate. I'm like, bro, I got a business we can do. He's like, yeah, come meet me at my dad's studio. So I go meet him, and he just kind of, yeah, man, listen, I'm in real estate. I'm not going to do this thing. But, I'll try the product. And he started on product. And, his story, lost 100 pounds. Pretty much, I got rejection after rejection after rejection. I was told, build a list, call people. I had no network. I called my friends from university. They all laughed at us. Or they're just too lazy. They're busy getting high, drinking. So I'm like, these guys are waste. We did sign up a couple of them. But I made a list of my dad's friends and my mom's friends. I'm going to start calling them. Bro, I was just hungry. They told me make a list, call people. That's what I did. I had to get rid of the 10 units of the product. So one she bought, one I used, one I gave my dad. I remember I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, I found something for your blood sugar. He's like, I don't want to take it. I'm like, no, you have to. You don't have a choice. He's like, no, my doctor's taking care of me. I'm like, your doctors take care of you. You're still sick. I'm like, no, you have to take it. I found this business. And he's telling me, you better not get distracted. You're going to med school in January. I'm like, no, I would downplay it. Listen, I'm not getting distracted. It's just a little side thing I'm doing to pay for med school. But in my heart, bro, I had that thing that I found something that might be my exit plan. Because that's what people need. They need an exit plan.
What was that aha moment for you? Did you just know because you were just working at it? And then what was that one pivotal moment where you're like, I'm going all in this?
Yeah. So
and was it both of you or was it just Rav that fully went in? Yeah.
When he first got his pack, I just wanted to try the product because I was still a little skeptical, of course, right? Like I was like, okay, if this thing can do so many great things, I want to see what it can do for me.
Yeah.
And at the time I was struggling with migraines. I had skin issues, like acne, anxiety, gut issues, and I was struggling to lose weight too. So in 3 weeks, I noticed improvements in all those areas. I lost 10 pounds and I was like, holy crap, like this thing actually
and right off the belly too, it was just like
it was
abs.
I got abs for the first time. I'm like, this is insane. I didn't have to work that hard to do it. And it was crazy. So then I literally, whatever I had saved up to the dollar.
So 3 weeks later, she set up, but she paid for it from her savings.
I didn't.
Got it.
Yeah,
No one spotted you.
No one could spot me. I didn't have anyone to spot me.
Yeah.
So I had $2.77 left in my bank account.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we sold it. So we got rid of those 20 boxes.
Yeah.
Her money came back.
So let me ask you this. Obviously now the business is very different. At that time, during your time, I don't know if the process is still the same now or versus
very
that
different.
Very different now.
Oh,
so during that time, you would have to sell individual boxes.
Yeah, drive around, deliver it, hand deliver it.
Really?
Yeah.
And then would those boxes be at a fixed price, or you can
market whatever you want.
So really, okay, so there was not even a set rate in terms of what you can do. So if the box was, let's say, $100, you can sell for $200 or $300 and pocket the difference. Okay, but it's different now. It's obviously.
But at the time, Balance, which is one of our key flagship products, was called Slim. It was called Slim. Imagine talking to someone, hey, this can help your blood sugar. Why is the product called Slim? I don't need to lose weight. Oh, no. It's for blood sugar. Don't worry about the name. Like, bro, we went through obstacle after obstacle. And what happened? We got rid of it. I paid that doctor back. In 2 days, paid him back. I started talking to people about it. I went on Big's dad's radio. I started talking on there. I talked to his dad. I'm like, hey, uncle, what can I do? Because I know like a lot of these pre-con guys would go on the radio and talk about pre-con deals, right? That's how Big did it too. So I'm like, hey, I'm just going to talk about this because every Indian's got diabetes. And bro, I started going on the radio, and I mean, I speak Punjabi at home, but nothing crazy Punjabi. And I'm doing these interviews in Punjabi with his dad, and my phone is blowing up with truck drivers, taxi drivers, these guys who listen to the radio saying, I want the product. But we didn't know what we were doing. We were just going, delivering the product, next. We weren't building a relationship. We didn't understand duplication. We didn't understand building a company. We're just acting like sales. We hit this position. They told me, you got to hit this position called director. You qualify for a free trip for Aruba. I'm like, all right, we'll do it. We figured out what we need to do, hit it in 1 month. Second month, built her to director. That moved me to senior director, which is another rank in the company. And that's how we started. And back then, they had a bonus structure. So in 2 months, we made 14 grand, 21 grand between both of us. They had this whole bonus structure and everything back then. And
this is life-changing money for you at that point in time.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, we thought we made it. We're like, yo, 21 grand.
That's it. I can quit my job. I'm good.
So anyways, we do this. In January, they're doing an event in Toronto. That guy who showed it to us, and the owner of the company comes down. He's coming back next week. He came down. Few other top guys came down. There's a guy who was the number 2 Remax agent in the 90s in all of America. He became a distributor. He built in the 90s. He hasn't worked in 15, 20 years. He's made tens of millions of dollars. So he came to talk. A few other guys came to talk. And bro, this was one of the defining things. When I heard these guys talk, I've never listened to multimillionaires, successful people. And when they're talking on stage about discipline, about mindset, about thinking differently, bro, I fell in love with it. I was like, these guys are saying things different. But at that event, that guy that brought us in, he had a deal from another juice company, and he's taking everyone in that event to his next deal in the back end. So as soon as that event ended, the next day, everyone in Toronto left, and the story was Unicity's done. The formulator Balance is starting this new juice or a new product. Balance is not good. Unicity's not good. It's done. Yeah. And now he's talking smack about it. But like a month ago, this guy was saying it's the best opportunity. Everyone left except Kiran and I. And why? Because we had science background. We were able to distinguish BS from truth. We knew that with the science product, we understood the Rexall credibility. We understood Unicity solid. And that event, when we heard the owner, he talked about it because I found out later he knew this was happening. So he talked about the company being built on rock, built to last. I'm never going to embarrass you guys. And so we stayed. And all of them left. And now it's just us. So now in February, they had the Aruba trip that we qualified for. It's only her and I going to Aruba. A couple other people not in our team stayed in Toronto. They went to Aruba, and when we went to Aruba, that was a defining moment, bro. That was Kiran's first trip. She'd never been on a plane in her life. Wow. Never been to a beach.
It was crazy.
And how old were you guys at that point in time?
22 and 23, yeah.
Wow.
And never been to a beach. And we went there, and now it's like just a North American team. You're hanging around with people that have made tens of millions of dollars in Unicity. These guys built in the 90s. And then there's a bunch of doctors and older people. And they just kept saying to us, we didn't understand at the time, you kids are so lucky you found Unicity at this age. You kids are so lucky you found Unicity. It's built on rock. Unicity's solid. I didn't know what it meant, but they just kept saying, now I know what they meant. Because a lot of these companies, they sell crappy private label products. They just push commissions up this chain, which makes it a real pyramid scheme because the product is useless. The company's loaded in debt, and it's just a facade. That's why the industry has a bad name. Unicity was built on rock, and we saw that there. And once we saw it there, we got to hang around with guys. One guy got a $500,000 bonus at the recognition ceremony. This guy's made tens of millions of dollars. A few people got 10,000 bonus, 20,000 bonus. They were getting ranked because at different ranks you get bonuses.
So you got an exposure that you didn't anticipate, and that exposure was like, holy crap, we can
build a career here.
We can build a career over here.
Yeah,
and all the doctors that were there, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it just showed us like what's possible. We've never been exposed to anything like that before. We've never seen people actually winning like that. And so that opened up our whole mind. We're like, this can happen. And if these people are doing, they don't look any different than us.
And generally speaking, at that point in time, the age demographic we were at, I just want to make 100K. If you make 100K, like, wow, you're really up there. You know?
Now I'm hearing 100K a month. And I'm like, wait, people are making this. I remember my uncle had said $500,000 a month, and I found guys in Unicity and Aruba that were making this.
Yeah.
We're like, we found a career.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can hit $500,000 a month. I can never hit that as a doctor.
Yeah.
So, some people will see this opportunity like, oh, well, these guys got lucky. These guys gone first. What? Bro, at the end of the day, if they've done it, the possibility's there. Most people don't even have the possibility. Go on YouTube, 114 million active YouTube channels. How many channels have over 1 million subscribers? 29,000. So that's a 0.002 success rate. People still do YouTube. Why? Because there's possibility. And what we found there at that event in Aruba, found the possibility to achieve what we wanted. Guys who had been in the company and women who've been in the company that haven't worked in decades. They've been living off this reoccurring income stream they built off this cash flow business. Professionals who were doctors saying, hey, we're here to get out of medicine. That's why we're building this. And I still remember, we still have the sheet. We show it to our team. On the flight back from Aruba, we are writing the pros and cons of doing the Unicity franchise versus going to med school. We still have that sheet. And it was like, what's your why? Why do you want to do this? And I came back and I sent an email I still have the email, I'll show it to the admissions counselor. Thanks for the opportunity. Because I delayed the January acceptance to August. So now I'm supposed to start in August, right?
So you give yourself enough time. What you did is you gave yourself 6 months. You're like, I'm going to give myself 6 months at this. If this works, great. If it doesn't, I'm going to go back. I'm going to stick
to med school. So
you have a backup plan.
Yeah, and I blame my parents' divorce. I'm like, hey, I'm mentally, traumatized by my parents' divorce. I wasn't actually, but I'm mentally traumatized by my parents' divorce. I need a semester delayed. So I gave them proof. They delayed it. But in my mind, you're right, bro. Okay, I'm going to give this 6 months. I'm going to see what happens. And in Aruba, we figured out this is what we want to do.
That was when we made the decision.
I think the biggest challenge is, bro, most people don't figure out what they want to do in life. Once you figure out what you want to do in life, just make a commitment. You're going to become the world's best at that game. And a lot of people become the best in certain industries, but they realize they're capped. At that level, they're capped. So now they're trying to do other things. Over here, what we saw is it's unlimited potential because you have the scalability is unlimited. So we saw, okay, we just got to become the best at this. And then, there's nothing happening in North America. So North America is kind of flat. Unicity's been big in Asia for many years because when the owner bought the company, his leaders were in Asia. So he went in Asia to save the company because the company was going bankrupt. So in Asia, they become a household name. They're massive. And they had the leadership there. In North America, it was done because they were big in the 90s. But once the company started dwindling off, distributors kind of retired, left. And there were some consumers, but consumers don't build a business. You need leaders. So we're looking elsewhere. We're looking at other companies. We're looking at other people, how they're growing in the industry. We started consuming information. We started going to events. I remember we went to this one Vegas event in 2013, done by this guy named Eric Worre. He's big on social media. He's big in this network marketing industry thing. We went to this event, and bro, I think when we went to that event, that was a second defining moment that, wow, we can do this. And the reason why is we saw young guys making $100,000 a month. One guy that spoke, I still remember, he did a 2-hour talk and he was making over $1 million a month. He'd earned $60 million in 5 years in some company. And bro, his 2-hour talk about reprogramming his mindset, about changing his thinking, about thinking much bigger. I remember we left that night and we're like, we're going to kill this.
It was a paradigm shift, right? To see someone making that kind of income.
$1 million a month in 2014. I'm like, people have done it. He broke the paradigm. He was the first guy to do it.
Was there a moment in all of this where you're like, from customer after customer, box delivery after box delivery, rejection after rejection, and you're like, man, I think we should just stop now. I think this is a good amount. Let's go back to our plan now. We're making X amount now. We're comfortable. Let's kind of go. Or was it, no, screw everything else. This is it.
I think if we had the plan B, we would have gone back. The boat was burned. It was, we build the boat or we die on the island. The other boat was burned, bro. We burned it. It wasn't even an option to go back anymore. So it's like, we got to figure this out. And once the human mind sets their mind on that, you will surprise yourself what you're capable of. People are too scared to burn the boats. That's why you got these young kids today. They're living with their parents and they're comfortable. Like, I don't have desire. Yeah, you don't have desire because mom's making you dinner every night and you got to pay the bills. You got to pay the bills. You'll figure it out. And that's the challenge. People don't burn the boats. Once you burn the boat, look, you will surprise yourself what you're capable of. And we'd burn the boat.
Yeah, and there were definitely times where we questioned our ability to do this because, of course, like we were burning ourselves out, trying to sell the product. It's not like we really had that much help from the company standpoint because they were focused on their efforts in Asia. So we were kind of fending for ourselves here. And I mean, the biggest thing that kept us together and just going through it was that whenever I was down, he was up. Whenever he was down, I was up.
Facts.
So we just lifted each other through.
We were never down the same time,
Never.
or else we wouldn't be here right now.
Never.
It was always a yin and yang.
Even though it was really hard, though, right? Because I mean, we had legitimate reasons to quit. Really?
Oh, the amount of times we used to, I forgot about this right now. The amount of times we used to have talks. Man, should we just go back to med school? Yeah. Did we make the wrong decision? And luckily, like she said, one was up, the other was down. So like, no, this is our dream. This is what we got to do.
You know, we didn't get this far just to get this far, right?
And I think just constantly re-engaging in, so the vision starts to die, but as long as you're engaged, so the company has rewards trips twice a year. And we made sure we always qualified for a trip. I think we missed one trip in 12 years in our career. And that was the year I started driving Uber. We're almost quit the business. We'll get to that. But they have these reward trips. We always qualified. So when you got discouraged, you go to the reward trips, your vision will get stronger. You come back on fire. Then that disappears for a bit, the fire. But then you go to the next, you go to a conference in Thailand, 50,000 people. You see what's happening. Like, holy crap. If they can do that here, we can do it here, back here. And then, we went to the Eric Worre thing. We saw that. That built your vision. As we stayed in the game, we started building a relationship with the company. And then we got a relationship with the owner of the company, Stuart Hughes. And when he came into our life, man, all you need is one mentor to come in your life. And that guy changed everything for us. Yeah. And he said, I remember the first phone call he had with us. He said, listen, I seen what you two done in the first 2 months in the business. I can see you have potential. I'm not a distributor anymore, so I can't tell you how to build a business. I'm the owner of the company. But if I can teach you how to think, I'm happy to do that. And I want you to, I still remember these words, and I'm not going to give you anything. You two have to build a muscle, swim up. I'm not going to corrupt you. So don't ask me for anything. But if I can teach you how to think, if I can guide you, I'm happy to help you guys because I see you two are hungry. You're sharp, you're good looking, you're young. This is what we need in North America. And every 6 months, we would just set up mentorship call, like a call with him. Hey, I'm email his assistant. Can I set up a call? And he would just kind of help us when we felt stuck, when we felt lost, when nothing was left. We're ready to quit. We'd set up a call with him, and he'd kind of help us with our mindset. And we're like, okay, we got a little bit more fuel in the tank. And then the tank starts getting swell. Set up a call with Stuart. All right, we got a little bit more fuel in the tank. And then at the same time, going to events. And that's how we stayed, bro. We were literally hanging on the cliff like this. We're making $150 to $500 a month. Those bonuses are done. The plan was very bonus heavy back then. Now it's much better, but back then it was very bonus heavy. So those bonuses are done, and the money comes later on when you hit diamond and all that. So you had to build this business. So now the bonuses are done. You're living off $150, $500 a month. You can't do that, man. You can't live off $500 a month 10 years ago or right now. I mean, we couldn't even buy our product half the time with the commissions or your monthly supply of $150 because our commissions are so low. And at the same time,
so how are you surviving? Like, how are you surviving at that point in time?
Odd jobs. One time I worked water filter sales. Another time I did a cold calling at a call center.
I became a personal trainer, so I trained like a lot.
She started training a lot.
I was burning myself out as a trainer.
Wow.
That became her, because she didn't, like, I was lucky. My mom within 3-4 months started seeing the vision, so she started believing in it. She's like, look, I know you guys will do it. I'll help you guys, like, in terms of staying at the house, all that. But her family was the opposite. She had zero support from her family for the dream. In fact, it was like making it harder.
And you guys aren't even married at that point in time,
No. And we proposed. So 2014, there was a conference in Thailand. We're together now, 7 years? And, I know she's the girl. I want to propose. You start hearing the jabs. When are you going to put a ring on it? All this stuff. We've been together. We've done everything together.
And I never rushed him.
Yeah, she never rushed me, but I just wanted to do it. So Thailand, we're going to a convention. There's a big convention, 50,000 people. And this is a rewards trip, so they pay for your flight there. So me, my mom, my sister, Kiran are going. And, I tell my mom and my sister, hey, I want to propose to Kiran. And I gathered as much money. I think I had like $2,000 saved up for a ring. My mom had a little bit loose gold she sold, and we got a ring, and we went to Thailand. And I went to Thailand. I didn't even know what a Michelin star restaurant was, bro. I booked a three-star Michelin restaurant. I didn't even know what it was. It's at the top of this hotel, the top dome, 70th floor. And we go to this restaurant, and I'm like shitting bricks, bro. I didn't have money to get a videographer. I didn't have money to get a camera team, nothing. I had this whole speech prepared, and I'm like shitting bricks. And we go to the restaurant, and they bring the menu in front of us, and it's like $1,200 per person.
I'm like, that's how much I brought for this entire
bro,
trip.
I didn't even have $1,200 for the trip. And I'm like, she's like, what do we do? Why did you book this place? I'm like, I just want a surprise. And I'm like, I have a ring in my H&M blazer jacket. I'm like, oh, yo, what do we do? I'm like, can we get a drink menu? We got a drink menu. Couldn't even afford the alcohol menu. Got a smoothie or some shit. I'm like sweating, like, I got to propose to her, man. What are we going to do? I can't even afford the dinner here right now.
Yeah.
And I made up some stuff like, sir, we're vegetarian. Can we get the veggie menu? They bring the veggie menu. It's still $1,000 per person. And then I'm like, she's like, what? Because she knows our situation. It's not like she's oblivious.
Like, we need to get out
We're
of
in this
here.
grind together. She's like, what do we do? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, why did you pick this restaurant? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to take you somewhere nice. And then we made up some thing. Hey, we're not that hungry. We ate. Do you have a la carte? Like, oh, go 10 floors down. So we went 10 floors down. That was a lot more affordable restaurant. $40 a dish or $30 a dish. And there, I lost I completely forgot what I was gonna say. I'm completely thrown off. And I just I butchered the proposal completely. I just told her to stand up. She's like, what do you mean stand up? And I just said, hey, will you marry me? Forgot everything.
Stand up. Imagine you're at a dinner table, stand up.
He's like, stand up. I'm like, where are we going now?
It was so embarrassing. I've never said this anywhere. And she's like, at first she said, you didn't even let me get my nails done today. I'm like, all right, whatever. But whatever.
Okay.
She said yes. And then we celebrated. Unicity knew I was proposing. They sent us like a champagne bottle, all that in the hotel room. And that's how we proposed. And bro, I didn't even ask her parents because I knew her parents would have said no.
Yeah.
I'm broke. I knew parents would have said no. She said after, she's like, did you ask my parents? I'm like, no, they would have said no. She's like, what do we do? I'm like, we got to go back. So we went back, told the parents, hey, I proposed to your daughter. And that was the most awkward situation. Like, so what's your plan? Unicity. And they just look at us like, huh? And then mom's like, at least go get a naturopath degree if you want to be in the natural thing. And we're like, no, we're going to do Unicity. This is going to be our thing. And they just like, bro, it's so awkward. They didn't say no, but they didn't say yes. They just left it at that. And for 3-4 years, we couldn't get married. And 2017 hits now. We're trying to build a business, up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down.
At what point does things start taking off where you finally start to see some money coming in where you can survive?
Right before the quitting point, bro. So 2017, we're about to get married. So, right? So she's like, listen, it's been 3 years since you proposed. I can't keep living at home. It's a crazy situation. We need to do something.
Yeah.
And I'm getting the pressure too. I'm like, man, I need to get married to her. This Unicity thing's not working. Like $600-$500 a month is coming. We got to figure something out. So decide I'm going to download Uber. And I started driving Uber 2017. And here's another thing. People will start a side thing that they want to start during their dream, but now the side things start becoming the main thing because it's easier. Because a human being will always do what's easy. So, I originally started Uber. Okay, I'm going to drive 2-3 hours. I'll make $100 a day. And the rest of the time I'll focus on Unicity. But that 100's so easy. Bro, you just turning on an app and driving. So now what happens? Man, I made $100. I'll drive another 4 hours. I'll drive another 4 hours. Now I'm driving 10 hours a day. I'm making $4 or $5 grand a month. I mean, that's money that I've never made. She would have made it a little bit in personal training, but I've never made that. In a job, but driving Uber. Now you get hooked to that. So now I'm driving 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day, 16 hours a day, because I'm just trying to catch up for all those years of not making money and trying to save money for the wedding, put money aside for the wedding. My mom's helping as well. And yeah, we got married that year. But what happened? That as I started focusing on Uber, everything we'd done with Unicity started collapsing with the team. The users were still ordering, but the team started collapsing because they weren't strong enough.
They were really dependent on us to do everything. We didn't really understand leadership. We didn't understand how to develop people, how to teach people, because we learned a lot of skills throughout the years, but we didn't know how to transfer that skill to people. And so, if we weren't involved directly in their growth, they would just fall off.
Yeah, they were like little babies. We weren't developing leaders. We were creating a bunch of followers. And that's one mistake people, I think, make in our business is they try to do everything for everyone. No, you're developing a leader because that leader can go on and become independent. You want an organization of leaders that don't rely on you, and now your income becomes truly passive, growing passive. And so we didn't have that. So once we started driving Uber, she got busy with the personal training because we're saving up money to have this wedding. And even the wedding we had at Copper Creek, which wasn't cheap, but luckily we had a good relationship with the manager. Some corporate guy dropped the deal, lost his deposit, so we saved that 15 grand on the deposit. She wanted an outdoor wedding, and that's how we got Copper Creek. So now we're driving Uber, but bro, here's the thing. For anyone that's listening, man, you have a dream. You have something you want to do. But if you have that plan B and that plan B is easier than your dream, you're not going to achieve your dream because you will keep going to plan B. And that's what happened in 2017 until it got to the point. Now, even our mentor, Stuart, had left Unicity. He had to go for 3 years to a church mission. 2017, he's gone. He's left the company for 3 years. And now there's no one to rely on for that fuel tank, bro. She's busy personal training. I'm doing Uber. And I just got married. September 2017, we got married. And now we're fighting more than ever. We've been together for like over a decade now. We're fighting more than ever. We're going at each other's throats. There were times where we almost said, let's just get a divorce. Bro, I fell into a depression in 2017. I used to cry at night, be like, God, what have I done? I gave up my whole life. And why am I not being able to fulfill my potential? Fuck, man, I'm getting emotional.
How were you in this situation? Like, he was going through this. Did you know he was going through this, or were you going through your own?
I mean, it was obvious. I was going through my own thing too, right? I finally got out of a negative household, right? I finally got out of a negative environment that wasn't really conducive for my growth. I was staying stagnant there. I wasn't getting any support. And then I, move in with him. And then he obviously has this internal storm of like him not feeling like he's living up to his potential, him not feeling like he's a provider because I'm like grinding every single day. So he's seeing it now more firsthand.
My mom is struggling. She's struggling.
Yeah, we're just trying to figure it out. And obviously we get to a point where, and
we're living in a 2,000 square foot house, bro. In my mom's house, we have the master bedroom. My mom's in the guest room. My sister's in the other guest room. That's our house. There's no freaking laundry room in the house. The basement is rented. There's no basement space. That's where we're living. And we're what, 28? 2017, what was that? 7 years ago. Yeah, 28. And
it felt like we were going backwards in life, if that made sense. Like, It didn't feel like we were progressing.
Even my mom's support starting to disappear. She's like, listen, man, you guys got to figure something else out.
You guys have given this so much time. Like, maybe it's
7
time
years
to start thinking about something else.
2013 to 4 years. Yeah, 4 years, 5 years now. And it's not working.
Yeah. And I remember I had a conversation with him. It was around December. And I said, I work so hard so that you don't have to spend that time diverting your energy when you could be focusing all your energy in this business.
And what I was doing, I kept looking at her, we got to do the business. We got to do the business. And now we became codependent.
So I was already like burning out, like training clients constantly. So every time I'd come home, I just needed like a break.
And I'm on her. We got to build a business. We got to do meetings. We got to do presentations. And she's exhausted paying the bills.
Yeah. And so like mentally I'm drained. Physically I'm drained. And I'm like, listen, like you need to take the reins on this. I can't.
You said one line to me and that line hit me. What was the line? And I remember there was like,
I don't even remember now.
When I come home and because bro, some days I was lost and now I've got to a point like I'm watching fucking TV. She comes home.
Yeah. I used to feel so.
Because I'm lost. I'm depressed. I'm driving Uber. Oh, yeah, I'm going to watch TV for a bit. And then go drive Uber, come home. Like, bro, these guys that you see. I'm turning.
This is a reality of a lot of people, man.
Bro, this is where I'm ending up. And I'm in a depression. Yeah. I'm looking at other people. And now I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go get my real estate exam. Right? That's what everyone. So I wrote my first exam. My mom and my dad and Kiran are happy. All right. I called Bick. I'm like, Bick, I'm going to come work with you. He's like, yeah, come. Because 2017 market was booming. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come work with you. I wrote my first exam. And I wrote that first exam. Again, the same thing like med school. Everyone's celebrating except me. Like, no, man, what the hell am I doing?
I didn't celebrate.
No, yeah, us too. But the dream was starting to die, bro. It was almost died. And I remember it was December 2017. And I texted this guy who's between us and the company. I think he's the only one left. Everyone else kind of left, quit. And he's been retired. He's made tens of millions of dollars. He's a very successful guy. And I texted him and I said, hey, man, I think I'm throwing in the towel. This isn't working. And because usually I'd reach out to Stuart, but Stuart's gone to the Philippines for his church mission. So I can't even reach out to my mentor now for fuel. Garen's exhausted. Now we're both down. And I wish I had this text message. I'm gonna ask him for the screenshot. And I said, hey, his name's Rick. I said, hey, Rick, I think this isn't really working. It's time to call quits. Company has changed the whole structure system. They're doing some protein shake thing. I'm not feeling that. It's like turning some Herbalife nonsense. And I'm just like, we're just like, hey, man, time to call quits. And I have a conversation with him. And he calls me. And I'm so grateful he spent time with me. And he probably spent 2 hours a day with me for that whole week. And he changed my whole thinking, bro. And I realized over the 4 or 5 years, what happened is you start with this big dream, but everyone's thoughts start going in your mind, and you become someone totally different because you let your society and environment make you now rather than you make yourself. And he asked me one question. Hey, have you done that process Stuart talks about, the method I was telling you about, the event we're doing next week? He's like, have you done that process? And this was something Stuart told me about. So when we used to have these mentorship calls with Stuart, he taught us this process that we teach our team now that he's been doing since he was 21 years old. And this is what allowed him to become one of the top 3 in the world in Wall Street. Number 1 distributor as a distributor, buy the company, save the company when it was going bankrupt. He said, this is the biggest secret I ever figured out in my life. It's a mindset process he does twice a day. And Rick said, how are you doing that? I said, man, I tried 2-3 times. It doesn't really work. And he said, no, that's what I did. You know, I had my insurance company. I was burnt out my insurance company. I wanted to build this business. No one believed in me. His brother-in-law, everyone put him down. He's like, I used to do that. I used to go to my washroom every night because I don't want anyone seeing me, and I'd do it before coming to bed. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start. So I created this, and what I did, bro, I did this process, which I don't know how we came up with this process, but I wrote down all my thoughts that are constantly dominating your mind. So everyone has these thoughts, these conversations they're having with themselves every day. You know, these are the conversations you're having when you wake up in the morning and when you go to bed at night. Oh man, making money is so hard. This isn't working out. I don't know if this is the right, you know, whatever it is, right? I wrote all those out, and on the right side of the page, I wrote out my dream. I want to make $100,000 a month. I want to retire my family. I want to provide for my family. I want to be rich. I want to have a successful team. I want to have a thriving business. And I looked at the thoughts and I looked at the goal. I'm like, wait, these two don't even line up. The thoughts are completely different from the person that I want to be. So now you're pretty much like a Lamborghini driving with the handbrake up. You're not going to be able to do it. You get it going, but you sabotage yourself. You get a little bit going, you sabotage yourself. So what I did, I still remember, I wrote it in a blue pen. I grabbed a red pen, I crossed out every single thought, and I used to write the thought that would align with the person I wanted to be. So for example, making money is hard because it's been 5 years I haven't been able to make money. I started believing that thought system. Making money is hard. I started thinking, no, what would that person think? And this is a little weird, as woo-woo, but I would close my eyes, I'd see myself as a winner, and I'd literally go to that Rav and ask him, hey, what would you say in that moment? And, you know, making money is a function of adding value. The more value you add, the more money you make. Boom, new thought. Another one, my products are too expensive. Because we used to hear that. Oh, products too expensive, products too expensive. I broke it down. It's $1.60 a packet. I'm like, what's the biggest companies in the world? Apple. It's the most expensive. Dyson, most expensive. Starbucks did $40 billion last year. I actually went to a Starbucks in my area, stood next to a cash register for 5 minutes. This is a true story. And I looked at what people spent. No one spent a transaction less than $8. Average transaction was $8 to $15. Remember I came back? I'm like, Kiran, I just went to Starbucks.
It was a paradigm shift.
Paradigm shift. Boom. Never ever did I ever think my product was too expensive again. People buy what they value. They don't buy based on price only. I got to show the value. So we got to figure out how to show the value of our product. So anyways, as I started changing this thinking, I started doing that process Stuart taught me about, which we trained to our team. This was December 13, 2017. I still remember the day. And my birthday is January 6th. And I said, I'm going to do this process till January 6th. I'm going to see how I feel. Because right now, in my heart, in my mind is like a tsunami, bro. It's a storm going on. I'm in depression. I'm taking out on her. Nothing's going right in my life. And I start doing this process multiple times a day. And I'm reading the new thoughts because I wrote those new thoughts, but they're not my new thinking yet. But you can change your thinking. This is the greatest gift a human being has. You can direct your thinking. The Gita, the Bible, the Quran, they all say it, bro. You can direct your thinking, but most people don't direct their thinking. They let society determine their thinking. So I started reading the new thinking multiple times a day. I had it next to me on the car. I think December 24th, Uber sends an email, do you want to renew? And I've been doing this process for about 10, 12 days now. The storm has calmed down. Guess what's increased in my heart? Certainty. And I told her, listen, I'm not doing Uber. I'm going to figure Unicity out. You focus on paying the bills. Give me 6 months. Let's get Unicity going. I'm not looking left. I'm not looking right. I called Bic. I'm like, hey, bro, I'm not doing the real estate thing. Deleted the second real estate exam. Deleted Uber. Burned the bridges again. And decide this is it. No looking left. No looking right. With the right mindset, let's give Unicity our all. And 2018, in 7 months, started making almost the same as Uber. In a year and a half, replaced her personal training income. In 2 years, 6 figures. In 3 years, 7 figures. In 4 years, 8 figures. And
sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit. And now we have what? 15 people in our team making 7 figures now. So many people making over 10,000 a month. And now it's like people in our team we don't even know that we meet at events. Like, thank you for changing my life. I don't even know who they are, and they're making like 20,000 a month because we built leaders. We're building leaders. And then in 2022 December, I was doing that same. I still do that mindset process every single day. I did it this morning too. I still do it. I live by it. So in 2022 December, I was doing it. And Bikram's name kept coming up. Bikram, while I'm doing it. And I told her, got on my morning meditation, I'm like, Bikram's name keeps coming up. I'm going to call Bikram. It's been like a year and a half I haven't talked to Bikram. And then, he tells a story. I call him. I said, hey, listen, man, I want to buy real estate. I actually wanted to buy a commercial building. So I'm like, I want to buy a commercial building. You know the story. I go meet him at Shareway Gardens. He sees what I've done with Unicity. He gets involved. And in 1 year, he did what took us like 8 years to do. Oh. And now Toronto's on fire. And by the way, that office we have now in Toronto, Unicity used to have an office on the bottom floor in that same building. We lost it in 2018. And we used to say in 2014, one day we're going to be in this office. There's going to be Lamborghinis out front, Rolls Royces out front. People are going to be winning in the team. Who knew it would have taken 10 years? And this is one last thing I'll add to this part is whatever your dream is, all of us have that dream, but that journey to that dream, you have no idea what that journey you're going to have to go through. I didn't know we'd have to fall into a depression. We'd almost have to break up. We'd have to lose everything. See my mom struggle. See my mom freaking accumulate hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. If we were in that situation 7 years ago in this market right now, we would have lost everything. Everything would have been gone. We'd probably be renting in some apartment right now. But anyways, had I known in 2013 when I left med school that I would have to go through this journey, I would have probably said, forget about it, I'm going to med school. I wasn't strong enough. I had to build the character development, the skill set, the mindset, because you still got to build the skill set. There's skills involved. This isn't just visualize and woo-woo, Harry Potter, it all shows up, checks show up in the mail. You got to work. You got to put your you got to work your ass off. But had I known the day I sent that email in med school, what we would have gone through, we would have probably said, forget it, go to med school.
He's doing all these exercises. Did he get you on these exercises as well? Are you doing your own mindset shift or mental shift, or was it more like when the results started coming in, you're like, okay, cool, now we throttle even more?
Yeah, so at the time I was still personal training like a lot. And then I actually ended up losing my job. The owner of the gym that I was working at just didn't see eye to eye with my business. I was building my business online. I had a lot of clients that I used to train reach out to me and wanted to buy my products and stuff like that. And he knew about it. We actually got him on the products himself. He lost some weight, but he just didn't believe in our business. He
was insecure, man.
He was really insecure. He's like,
he lost 7 pounds in the first week and stopped the product because he realized Kiran had something.
Yeah. And I mean, I had tons of people had amazing transformations with the products, and he just got really insecure because he's like, oh, well, it sounds like your process is better than mine. I'm just going to have to let you go kind of thing.
Oh, he said you choose my gym or you choose Unicity.
Yeah, but I mean, it was basically that. He didn't say it, but we know that that's what he meant, right? It really was, his ego just was in the way of him accepting another way for him to enhance, his results at the gym. But yeah, he did say that to me. He said, if you want to keep working here, you're going to have to let this Unicity thing go. And I said, no, absolutely not. I told you ahead of time before I started working with you, this is what I do, and I'm not going to let that go. And so I walked away, and I was heartbroken because that was a big chunk of the income that we were making.
Because right now our Unicity income is the same as our personal training income. So now our income's got cut in half.
Yeah. So it was a bit of a shock, and I was really scared. When I told him about it, he wasn't. And that's when I knew he was changing, because, he was strong about it. He's like, that's fine. It's okay. We'll figure it out.
I said it's about time.
Yeah.
Because I kept telling you, you gotta quit. Because she's so stuck in fear, bro. Because she's been in this fear mindset because she's been on fight or flight trying to pay the bills to keep us afloat. She's had to fend for herself. Luckily, I had my mom, she'd support with the house. And so she had to fend for herself. Since she was 16, she's been in this fight or flight. And that became her mindset, her thinking. And we're at the point now where Unicity income's more than her personal training. And that was a plan. I'm like, Kiran, you gotta quit. Not yet. I'm like, what are you waiting for? You're spending 40 hours a week for literally trading time for money. And I used to always say this to her. Being rich is not about working hard. The whole world works hard. Rich people think differently. And she just was stuck in this fear mindset. And then God, I believe I manifested it the way she had to.
You did manifest.
Because what I used to visualize all the time in meditation was she wakes up next to me in the mornings. Because I used to wake up. She's gone doing the boot camps at 4 or 5 a.m. I used to visualize all the time. She's waking up next to me. She doesn't have to go to a job. We're relaxed. We're spending the morning together.
No alarm clock.
And we're at the point now where we could do it because Unicity is starting to equal that, more than that. And she just wasn't leaving. And then so tell them how you had to change the mindset.
So then he taught me that same process, right? That whole what do you want to be and what do you want to achieve, and what is the thinking that you have right now is it lining up? And so I started doing that too, and I realized how much you think you're positive, but only until you really write down the thoughts that you have that you realize how negative you really are about yourself, about what you think about yourself, about your future. You don't know until you write it down and really have an honest conversation. And some of the thoughts that I have were like, they were really crappy. Like, why would anybody want to listen to me? Who would want to join me? Am I even worthy? Like, things like that. And I had to shift that thinking. I had to replace all of those thoughts with thoughts that were more aligned with the person that I wanted to be. And I knew that person is there. I just had to uncover, you know? So going through that process, that's when we really got aligned, and it supercharged our results, right? Like when Rav's talking about like how our income kind of started to really jump up, it was when both of us were aligned like that. We both had to be on the same page with our thinking. And also, we let go of anyone else doing anything for us. We realized if it is to be, it's up to me. I'm the only problem. I'm the only solution.
My mom moved out of the house. She went with my sister. We're taking care of the whole house. We're covering the bill. Like now there's no somebody to rely on. You've got to make it work with unicity. And guess what? You make it work.
That pressure is on. What is it? Pressure builds diamonds.
Yeah. Facts. That's how we hit diamond. And now we have diamonds in our organization.
Your mother and the whole family. Okay, because what I'm understanding is you have wife working, you have the mom working, you have the sister working or school.
So when I dropped out of med school, she dropped out of university and started YouTube. So she became a full-time YouTuber because she saw, wait, my brother can do. Because in the beginning she was losing her shit too. But eventually when she saw, okay, he's growing, he's loving this, she kind of got involved in, thinking differently because we do the workshops for our team, all that. So she'd be sitting there, her thinking started changing. She dropped out of university. She actually bought a condo from BIC. That's how we got the condo from BIC, with her RESP money. And we got a condo Westlake for like 30,000 down at the time, right? So she's smart. She dropped out. And here's the thing. Even she started YouTube in a year, she started taking off. So by 2017, 2018, she's making close to $1 million a year on YouTube.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they're killing it. Yeah, now they're 3 million plus subscribers. They're killing on YouTube. She's killing on her career. Kiran's paying the bills. My mom's taking care of the house. And I'm like the loser. But it was that thinking. The thinking is everything, bro. Everyone where they are right now, they're their problem. They're the solution if they change their thinking. And I used to tell her, I'm like, one day, all the money we're behind, I promise you, it's going to catch up in 1 month. It's going to catch up 1 month. It's going to catch up 1 month. That's what happens.
Is that what you would say to Kiran all the time?
All the time.
All the time.
I say that. I'm like, Kiran, trust me, one day the money from this business will come so big. All those years we're behind, it will catch up in 1 month.
Have you ever, when you guys chat and you guys have your own conversation, do you ever say to him how proud you are of him, or, incredibly of like, just keeping you guys all alive, and vice versa?
I think it goes both ways, bro. Yeah. Because we built this together. I don't expect her to say how proud she is of me. I just say, man, we freaking killed it.
Yeah.
We're not even done yet. We still, bro, we're on. I still feel like 2018 right now. Like you've seen, we've been growing, we've been hustling, especially now what's happening in Toronto. And we've kind of changed the game with digital franchising. And that was something we changed in 2018. So in 2018, when I did that thought pad, one of the biggest insecurities I had was this whole MLM concept. And bro, think about it. I'm supposed to be going to med school. I'm an academic and I'm doing this MLM business. MLM's like you do if you're a loser, right? So you have this insecurity, and I'd always overcompensate with my education to compensate why we're doing this business. Till one of the thoughts I had to break was MLM is not a business model. So MLM stands for what? Multi-level marketing, multi-level compensation. So I started thinking about it. Every compensation in the world is multi-level, bro. When I buy a condo from you, who gets paid? You get paid, you're the broker, your agent gets paid. It pays your office, it pays the city, it pays the builder, pays the developer. Everything's multi-level. I buy a $6 coffee from Starbucks, the barista got paid, the manager got paid, then whoever got paid, all the way up the corporate chain. So everything in the world is multi-level compensation. So multi-level does not exist. Everything in the world is a multi-level. Unless you're a massage therapist working for $100 an hour, but you're never going to be rich. So if she has to be rich, she's got to duplicate herself too. So I started thinking about it. I'm like, okay, everything in the world is multi-level compensation. Then you have these companies. You have companies, there's financial companies, there's protein shake companies, there's makeup companies, there's us with our preventive healthcare products. How are all of these just pooled in the same industry? Like, bro, financial services is a completely different industry than what we do. We're just pooled in it. For what reason? Because we go build teams. But if you look at anyone that's rich, and I'm talking about rich, I'm talking about, at least minimum, making tens of millions of dollars plus, not making 100,000, 200,000 a year. Anyone that's rich in this country or in business has built a business that duplicates. Look at Osmos. I give the Osmos example all the time. The guy started in Streetsville making shawarmas. He had the vision, I'm going to build a franchise empire. So what do you have to do? He had to go recruit others to sell them a vision. Hey, buy this restaurant. It's a successful, viable business. I've proven the model. He duplicated. Now he's one of the richest guys in Canada. Same thing with Paramount. Same thing with McDonald's. Same thing with Burger King. Same thing with Uber. Same thing with Airbnb. Now, can any of those guys under them duplicate? No. So what happens if you get let's say I franchise Osmos to a guy and he's sharp, he's driven, he's hungry like me. In traditional business, that guy's cutting me out and replicating my model as my competition. Laziz, same thing in real estate. You have a sharp 10, let's say 10 on a skill set. He comes on your team. Eventually he's like, man, I need to do my own thing. I'm not working under this guy. He goes, cuts you out, and becomes your competition. In this business, everyone in the organization has the exact same comp plan, bro. So you can build an army with 10s and they're not competing with you. In fact, you're like, go be a 10. I want you to be better than me because you can out earn me if you want. And once I understood that, I realized this is a business model that's just franchising on steroids. And we came up with the name. I'm gonna give credit to Manveer. Manveer came up with the name digital franchising. And that's the model we're creating now. And we ain't no MLM. We ain't none of this. We are a digital franchising model that uses preventive healthcare products to scale. And we're going to hit 1% of the market and build a multi-billion-dollar organization where 56% of the revenue is shared out with our team. So the money's going back to the people. We're not dependent on the market. We're not dependent on shareholders. We're not dependent on anything. It's people driving people, building a monster leadership organization.
I like that.
That's our model. That was a thought I had to break. So that thought was also another thought I had to break, right? So yeah,
I have a couple of questions I want to ask you. We spoke a lot about mindset. We got a chance to hear the story all together. What's an inspiration that you had in your life, a great inspiration that kind of kept you going? And, whether that could be, Kiran, I'll start with you. It could be a mentor, it could be past, could be present, could be, from a book you read. What was a great piece of inspiration or person that was inspiring for you?
Yeah. So honestly, it was Stuart. I mean, he reached out at the perfect time in our business when we were just starting out. And he believed in us. No one else believed in us. And he kept believing in us because he kept giving us his time. We're talking someone who's like a billionaire, basically. He's taking his time out to mentor a couple kids here.
He doesn't know if it's going to give an ROI.
He has no idea if it's going to give an ROI. And that's what really kind of kept us going. So, every time each one of us found ourselves down, we would always ask ourselves, what would Stuart do? How would he think?
We have this saying, it's called WWSD. What would Stuart do? Whenever we're stuck, we always ask ourselves, WWSD, what would Stuart do? And it's just like this guiding light.
Yeah, and we would just channel that mindset. We would channel that thinking. And what has he taught us? How can we reflect back on some of the stuff that he's taught us, principles that he's taught us, and how can we apply that right now? How does that apply in our business right now? And I think that's really been our guiding light, having a mentor like that. So to anyone who's kind of lost, find a mentor, find someone that you want to aspire to be like. Make that your map.
And be careful. That guy's not making money selling mentorship programs because that guy hasn't built a real business. You got to make sure the guy you learn from has actually built a real business. Because man, there's a lot of these guys, especially now in the internet days, bro, everyone's a successful guru. And they've become successful selling the dream. They haven't even built shit. No, do they have a real product that they've built their business with? Like you built a big real estate company. And what you've been doing, brother, you've been killing it. I love seeing guys our age level killing it in their game.
Thank you.
So, find a guy who's built a real, legitimate business. 2, and then see, okay, is this guy willing to help me? Or is there a way I can work with this guy and learn from him? And only once 3, I would add, look at their financial situation, but also their family life, their health, and what people around them say about them. Because you can have guys that are worth tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and their family doesn't talk to them. Nobody likes them. Bro, that to me is the ultimate failure. You could have $1 billion, but if your wife says my husband's the biggest asshole I know, failure. Your kids say my dad's an asshole, failure. My number one driver, bro, my guiding light when I'm dead is my kids and my wife say my husband was the most successful man I've ever met in my life. My mom saying my son was the most successful man ever met in my life. Because they don't look at it just for money. They look at it as your character, your person, your integrity. And that to me matters more than anything, bro. If I have $1 billion and my family hates me, failure. So you got to look at all of those and then see, okay, if this person fulfills all these criteria, that's a person I want to learn from. Bro, it can't just be money. Money's a man-made concept. Money's made by man. Humanity is way deeper than just money. Money is just a tool we use in society as a function of value you add to people's lives. It's your character. It's how you treat people. It's your skill set. It's your mindset. That's what you got to look for in a person. If you find that from a person, that's how you find a mentor. And we were lucky. Stuart is that guiding light for us.
Knowing what you know now and the individuals you've become now, if you had to tell your younger self something, what would you say to her?
Believe in yourself sooner. Oftentimes we let ourselves get in our own way, and you just have to believe in your own abilities sooner. That's it. Like, really, just get out of your own way and just do it. The fear is always greater in your mind than it is just taking action. Facts. You realize how simple this is, how people are nice, people are kind. They're going to be kind to you if you're kind, you know? You get what you put out there. So don't scare yourself out of your dreams.
I like that. Rav, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
Bro, watch your thinking, man. Your thinking determines your destination. Everyone's on how. What's the next tool? AI. What's the next book? No, forget all that. Take a piece of paper, write out the thoughts you've been having about yourself, your self-identity. Look at that and ask yourself, do they match the person you want to be? And if it isn't, change that first. You don't need a single book. You know, you have all these people. Look at all the books I have read. Tell me chapter 3 of Think and Grow Rich. Oh, no, I read that years ago. Now I can tell you about how many books I've read. These are people that are consumed by information. They think the answer's out there when the answer's within. The answer's always within, bro. But you have to watch your thinking, because your thinking will start influencing your feelings. Those feelings start to influence the subconscious mind. Now the subconscious mind gives you the ideas you need, because everything in this world is from someone's mind. This room was someone's mind. This podcast you start is your mind. Everything starts from the mind, but starts with, what's the programming, what's the thinking? Then you got to take the action. The action's the important part, and then the result comes at the end. But what everyone's focused on, forget everything else. What's the action I got to take? But if you're taking action with the wrong thinking, it's like an iPhone with a virus on it. You can install the best app, it ain't going to work. Change your thinking, you'll change your life. And that's what we teach our team. I think that's why we're creating so many millionaires today.
And just to add to that, I would add that, let patience be your power. Oftentimes we underestimate what we can do in 10 years and overestimate what we can do in 1. And if we had to go back and think about how long it took us, I think I wouldn't have changed a single thing. I would have still gone through every single thing I went through, because every journey was like a lesson, right? At every point I had to learn a lesson about myself. I had to learn a lesson about how to work with people, how to deal with people, how to understand situations, how to navigate, obstacles, objections, all of that. And I wouldn't have changed a single thing. So let patience be your power. Failure is your teacher, and man, believe in yourself.
Bro, that's it. If you are an entrepreneur right now listening, and you believe your product has value to add to the world, and you believe that you have you don't know how you're going to get there, but there is a market for it and it's scalable. Do not quit. That's all I'll say. Do not quit. Because show me a failure who didn't quit. Tell me one. I've never found one, bro. Who didn't quit but kept refining on their skills, not doing the same shit over and over, saying this isn't working, but they kept refining their skills, they kept learning, they kept seeking for help. Find me a failure. Doesn't exist. Show me a person who quit, I can show you millions. And they'll say, oh, that didn't work because of this. That didn't work because of that. No, you quit.
There's so many parts in this conversation. Not only have you inspired me, thank you for sharing your story. You even brought tears to my eyes a little bit during the episode too. I thought we were both going to cry, for a second. Both of us went silent. My eyes were watery too. Good thing. I want to finish off this episode with a very important question. And I want to ask you first, Kiran, then I'm going to ask you, Rav. Who is Kiran?
Who is Kiran? That's a really good question. I'm still building her. She is someone that I'm forever chasing. She is a strong, independent woman. She knows what she wants, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to get it.
Rav? Who is Rav?
Leader builder, man. Building people, making a difference, helping people level up, believe in themselves that, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. My focus is the people. The money comes, and yeah, the world out there sees the money, man. It ain't about the money. If it was about the money, I would have stopped years ago. I want to put a dent in this world that when I leave, people are like, man, this guy changed my life. And because I changed their life, I know they're going to raise better children. I know they're going to be better people in society. They're going to be better people to people around them. And when I leave, it's like, hey, this guy actually did a positive difference in the world. That's my guiding light.
Thank you for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for another episode. This one, I would say, was one of the most inspiring episodes I've shot today. And hearing their journey, hearing their story, I'm sure there's going to be a movie made on the journey of these two. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed recording it. Stay tuned for the next episode.